Welcome back to Cord Cutting This Week, episode number 54, the show where I give you my opinion on some of the biggest stories in the world of cord cutting. Now, this is my opinion. In the show notes down below, I'll link to each story I talk about so you can read about it yourself, make up your own mind, and let me know what I got wrong. I would love to hear from you. First though, a special thank you to Sling TV for sponsoring this episode. Their antenna install program is once again back, offering home antenna installs where they sell you the antenna and install it starting at $99 for an indoor antenna or $150 for an outdoor antenna. Includes the sale of the antenna, the setup of the antenna, and making sure everything works before they leave your home. It's a pretty great deal. You do need to call a specific number though, 1-888-364-6055. That number will take you to the antenna install department. Calling the main dish number or main Sling TV number may end up with somebody trying to sell you a dish package or a streaming package rather than an antenna. So I'll put a link to that down in the show notes with the phone number so you can find it all right there. Would recommend checking it out. I had them do it at my home. And a special thanks to Sling TV for sponsoring this episode. All right, let's dive into it because a lot has happened in the world of cord cutting this week. With Thanksgiving coming to an end, everybody's been breaking out the news they held over the Thanksgiving week. And one of the biggest things I think to keep an eye on going forward in the world of cord cutting is sports becoming more friendly. NFL, NBA, and now MLB are all working hard for a more cord cutting friendly option for streamers. Now, we've already known that NBA is slightly locked into a streaming package, but they've been making their NBA TV service more and more available. Word is they are pushing when the contract's renewed to make that a lot of the limitations on it go away. Now, NFL is testing out the idea of offering an NFL Sunday ticket without DirecTV, just streaming, no DirecTV Now, no nothing. It's currently being tested in a few markets where an NFL Sunday ticket can be purchased through DirecTV Now as a test market. According to their contract with now AT&T, used to be DirecTV when they signed it, they have an out. Now that out was originally set to come up in the fall where they could say, hey, AT&T, never mind, we don't want to continue with you. We're going to go on our own for streaming. But they agreed to push that back to the spring of 2019 as they do this test market. I hope they're really pushing that because I haven't heard a lot about the NFL Sunday ticket being offered in these markets. Maybe just in those markets is where you're getting all the news about it. Hopefully that they're giving a good, honest try, but sounds like the NFL owners are very serious about a streaming version of DirecTV's NFL Sunday ticket. But MLB is jumping on this bandwagon. Now, MLB's always been one of the leaders in streaming. MLB.TV is a huge leap forward when it launched in the idea of accessing MLB content that you couldn't necessarily get with your cable subscription. Now they are negotiating with all their partners because all the streaming for in-market deals have come to an end. Comcast, AT&T, Fox, and more are all renegotiating with MLB for streaming rights of MLB games. Now MLB is pushing for a few things. They obviously want more money, as it seems like always happens. They want a longer term contract with these companies, and they're also pushing for the idea of a streaming service to offer in-market games. Likely MLB.TV, not only would you get out-of-market games, you would now, without cable, according to the Sports Business Journal, without a traditional paid TV, whether that's streaming or whether that is a Comcast, you would be able to go and stream your game in-market without having to get an authentication. So that's pretty cool. That is in negotiations, but they need to have it in place before the start of the 2019 season because there's currently no contracts to allow streaming of MLB games in market at this time. So we should probably in the next 2 months or so, it seems weird, but we're only a few months really from the start of spring practice for Major League Baseball. Seems like, hey, Christmas isn't even here. But when you're talking about major contracts like this, it is kind of a tight window they're trying to squeeze all this negotiations into to get a deal done, to have something set up for the 2019 season. Because at this time, there's nothing out there that will allow that to happen if they don't get this deal. This is great news for cord cutters. Now, it's not perfect. We still have a lot of ways to go. NFL needs to make the decision and pull the trigger on that. Even if they do in the spring, the 2019 season will still be with DirecTV. It will be the 2020 season when that will officially kick off as a streaming option through the NFL. Major League Baseball needs to wait for the contract to end. And I've heard conflicting dates on when that's going to end. Maybe it depends on who their contracts are with. Could be in a couple years, could be about 4 or so years before that would happen. Now Major League Baseball. My question to you is, what would you pay for this? If you could get out-of-market games, in-market games, no need for a cable or satellite subscription or even a streaming service like PlayStation Vue, DirecTV Now, Hulu, and more. Now, assuming it would be a lot cheaper than cable, especially when you consider you wouldn't need a 2-year contract, but it would still cost a lot of money compared to it. So let's say 30, 40 bucks a month to get every Major League Baseball game, period. No blackouts, no restrictions, it's all there. What would that do for you? I would love to hear from you. Leave me a comment. Would you do that? Would $29.99 be something in your range? $49.99? What's that point? I mean, I'll be honest. If I could just pay for every college football game without any blackouts or limitations, I would pay a pretty penny for that because I love college football, and that will be a great thing for me. If you're a Major League Baseball fan, I'd love to hear from you what your thoughts are on that. Let's keep on moving along today. T-Mobile TV service should be launching next month, or as I'm releasing this now, I should say this month. Now, T-Mobile has confirmed to CoreCar's News as yes, they still do intend to release in 2018. Only a few more weeks left for that. But their new TV service that they pipe as a very disruptive TV service that's going to come in and disrupt the whole TV market and take on everybody from Comcast to Sling to DirecTV Now and more, will roll out in a couple phases. First, they're going to release this year a home-centric version that you're going to need to have at home, a device in your home to watch it. In 2019, a more traditional streaming service a la Sling TV, Hulu, PlayStation Vue, DirecTV Now, etc. will be coming in 2019. What does this mean? Sounds like a lot of Layer 3. So T-Mobile bought Layer 3, which is kind of a traditional cable service, kind of not, but let's just say where you need the device, you need all the terms and all that. It looks like they're going to probably rebrand that to T-Mobile if I was guessing. Again, my opinion on this story. And the true streaming service that they really are excited about probably won't happen in 2019. They have for some time said they're struggling to get the contracts they want at the pricing they need it to be at. Hopefully they can make that happen soon, because I think this would be great. I think the more competition in streaming, the more competition in this kind of market will be good. T-Mobile has a great history of being aggressive and trying to disrupt markets, cell phone markets and more. Now that they want to do that in TV, hopefully the only thing that the good news is it should be nothing but beneficial to cord cutting. My question to you is, are you excited about that? Now, T-Mobile has hinted about ideas of basically, you get your 5G internet, you get your T-Mobile wireless plan, and your TV all kind of bundled in one cheap plan. Would that interest you? Are you not interested at all? I'd love to hear from you. What would you like to see from T-Mobile? Well, let's dream here. Let's try to keep it slightly realistic, because I know everybody would love a la carte TV, and I think we're moving towards a la carte TV, but we're not there yet. The cable companies, the content owners need to feel a little bit more pain in their wallet, not physically, but pain in the subscriber numbers, let's call that. No one getting any ideas before they're going to be willing to offer a la carte TV. So I wouldn't expect that with T-Mobile. What would you realistically expect, though? Yeah, a la carte's coming. Maybe 3-4 years from now, maybe sooner. Kind of really depends on how fast cord cutting puts pressure on them. Well, I'll love to wait and see what happens there. But, what kind of channels would you want? What kind of price point would you want? What limitations would you be willing to accept for it? I'd love to hear from you. All right, last story of the day. This one I think is very interesting and very telling about the state of what may be an overcrowded streaming market out there. YouTube originals will soon be free for everyone. So it was originally reported by Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, later confirmed by TechCrunch that Google's going to take their YouTube originals, which are currently included with YouTube YouTube Premiere, Prime, or whatever they call it now. Premium. That's what I'm thinking of. Premium. Going live here. You would get all these originals, like a continuation of the Karate Kid movie as a TV show, which season 2, I believe, is coming out next year. And a bunch of movies and content from big name YouTube stars that are exclusively created for their YouTube Premium service. Now it sounds like they're going to take that, which currently costs $11.99 a month, and just make it free for everybody before 2020. So probably sometime in 2019. What does that mean for YouTube Premium? We don't know. Slight price drop maybe. Maybe YouTube Premium is going to be rearranged a little bit to offer additional content, because YouTube Premium also gives you things like offline viewing with downloads, background playing so you can turn your phone screen off, look at other apps, and the YouTube video keeps playing in the background. So there's a lot of things here that come with it. What I thought was the most interesting here is YouTube's kind of saying, you know what, the market's oversaturated. There's over 100 streaming services, both free and paid in the United States. You're already seeing some like Filmstruck shut down. Others have talked about, what's happening there. Others have talked about launching T-Mobile TV, and others are still to come in the United States. So with this market getting so crowded, there is a point where you have to say, hey, even though cord cutting is setting new records and growing faster than ever, more people are streaming than ever. I think I saw something like 8 billion hours a month in streamings happening in the United States. But at some point you have to say, hey, you know what? You just can't compete with everything, right? With the slings, DirecTV Now, Hulu, PlayStation View, Netflix, YouTube, and more. You really got to sit here and say, man, is it worth YouTube dumping money into originals when so much great content is being made for free on YouTube? And I think this was a big problem with YouTube, is the originals, with the exception of maybe the Karate Kid series, didn't really attract a lot of attention. There wasn't a lot of reasons like, man, I'm going to subscribe to YouTube because I want those originals. Not in the same way that like, oh man, I have to get Hulu because I want The Handmaid's Tale. I have to get Netflix because I want Orange is the New Black or Stranger Things, or I want to get Amazon for Man in the High Castle or the new Jack Ryan series. That it really is difficult to say, hey, this is what I wanted to do because they have that show. Where increasingly more and more places are doing this. Sony's reportedly looking at doing that and expanding their Sony Crackle originals and more. And I think this is just a maturing of the market too. While you may be like, oh, this is bad news for cord cutting, I think this actually shows how cord cutting is maturing. People are saying, hey, you know what? There may be enough views here with ads to make this model for YouTube successful, where we can create content, high quality content from YouTube that used to have to be paid for, didn't support with ads. It's a big market. It's how Cord Cutters News runs. We run off of ads, rather here on YouTube or over at cordcuttersnews.com. Without it, we just wouldn't be successful. So keep an eye on this. I think it'll be interesting. You see Sony Crackle with their original series, all free ad supported. Now YouTube going free ad supported. Are we going to continue to see more streaming services say, we're going to make our content available with ads because we feel there's enough people out there to make it worthwhile? Or is it, hey, maybe not. Maybe this is just a sign that YouTube is like, hey, we just couldn't get the subscribers. We have this content. Let's just make it available. We won't continue out making more original content. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know what you think about this. Is this something you would watch? Would you, or are you a subscriber to YouTube Premium? Are you upset that this is going to become free in the future? Are you not a subscriber? Are you excited that, hey, I would never subscribe to YouTube Premium, but now I would go watch these shows because they're free on YouTube? Leave me a comment. Let me know. All right. Hey, a special thanks to Sling TV, again, for sponsoring this. If you need an antenna installed, they will send a trained dish agent to your home, install it, set it up, make sure everything works right, and before they leave. It starts at $99.99 for an indoor antenna, $150 for an outdoor antenna install. Put it on the roof, run the cable in, connect to your TV. And they have a special phone number you have to call, 1-888-364-6055. If you want to get this deal, I'll put a link to it down in the show notes. Again, a special thanks to them. Huge help in making Cord Cutters News possible. All right, everybody. Those are the stories I thought were most interesting. The new sports streaming options, T-Mobile's TV coming out this month, YouTube Originals finally becoming free for everybody with ads. Let me know, was there a story I should have added? Do you disagree with me on any of these? Leave us a comment. We'll love to hear from you.